Take action. 7 Stoic discipline secrets to ending procrastination. There's a quiet kind of pain that nobody really sees. It's the pain of knowing exactly what you should do and still not doing it. You wake up with good intentions. Today will be different. Today you'll finally start the workout, the business idea, the studying, the hard conversation, the life you keep promising yourself. But somehow the day slips away. A few distractions, a little tiredness, a small excuse. Then suddenly it's night. And the worst part isn't losing the day. It's the guilt. That heavy feeling in your chest when you realize you did it again. You're not lazy. You're not broken. And you're definitely not weak. You're just trapped in a pattern that slowly steals your confidence. But here's the truth. The ancient Stoics understood this problem long before phones, social media, and endless distractions existed. They knew the real battle was never with time. It was with the mind. And once you understand that, everything begins to change. Because procrastination isn't really about the task in front of you. It's about fear, discomfort, emotion, the story you tell yourself before you even begin. And today, that story ends. What you're about to hear are 7 Stoic discipline secrets that can help you stop delaying your life and start becoming the person you know you can be. Not through hype, not through pressure, but through calm, deep inner control, the kind that lasts. So, if you've been stuck in cycles of delay, overthinking, and self-frustration, stay with me. Because one of these ideas may hit deeper than you expect, and it might be the shift that finally gets you moving. The first thing the Stoics would tell you is simple. Stop waiting to feel ready. This is where most people lose. They believe action should come after motivation. They think they need the perfect mood, the right energy, the right timing. But life doesn't work that way. Marcus Aurelius wrote to himself over and over about getting out of bed when his mind wanted comfort. He reminded himself that he was made for action, not endless hesitation. And honestly, that's the real problem with procrastination. We treat feelings like commands. If we feel tired, we stop. If we feel unsure, we delay. If we feel fear, we run. But feelings are weather. They change. They pass. Your values should lead, not your moods. Think about the person who says they'll start going to the gym on Monday. Monday comes and they don't feel it. So they wait. Then next Monday. Then next month. The body never changes because the decision depends on emotion. The Stoic way is different. You move because it's the right thing, not because it feels easy. That one shift alone can change a life. Action before emotion, not emotion before action. And once you practice this, something surprising happens. The feeling you were waiting for often comes after you begin, not before. A writer feels blocked until the first sentence. A runner feels tired until the first 5 minutes. A student feels overwhelmed until the first page. Starting creates energy. Waiting drains it. But here's where it gets even deeper. A lot of procrastination comes from making things mentally too big. The Stoics believe the mind suffers more in imagination than reality. And that's exactly what happens when you delay. A simple task becomes a monster in your head. One email starts to feel like an impossible burden. One phone call feels terrifying. One small project starts to look like a mountain. So you avoid it. But the problem isn't the task. It's the size your mind gave it. One man kept delaying applying for a new job. Every day he told himself he'd update his resume. But in his mind, it became this huge emotional event. What if he gets rejected? What if he's not good enough? What if nothing changes? Weeks passed. Then one evening, exhausted from his own excuses, he opened the laptop and told himself, just write your name and update one line. That's it. 5 minutes later, he was still going. An hour later, the whole resume was done. The fear was never in the task. It was in the imagination. This is one of the strongest Stoic discipline secrets. Shrink the moment. Don't say, I need to finish everything. Say, I only need to begin. Most people don't realize this, but starting small is not weakness. It's wisdom. The next secret is learning to stop arguing with reality. A huge part of procrastination is inner resistance. This is too hard. I don't want to do this. It shouldn't be this stressful. But reality doesn't care what we wish it felt like. The task is still there. The Stoics taught radical acceptance, not passive surrender, clear acceptance. This is what needs to be done. So do it. No drama. No mental fight. No emotional negotiation. Imagine someone avoiding paying bills, answering messages, or dealing with work problems. The longer they resist, the heavier it feels. Now the task carries extra weight. Stress, guilt, shame, anxiety. But the moment they sit down and face it, the suffering drops. Because resistance was creating most of the pain. The work itself was often simple. This shows up in daily life all the time. A difficult conversation with your partner, a health issue you need to check, a responsibility you've been ignoring. The mind says, later. The Stoic says, now. Not because it's pleasant, because peace comes faster through truth than avoidance. And this is where things change. The next secret is about identity. Stop seeing yourself as someone who procrastinates. This part matters more than people think, because every repeated delay becomes a vote for the kind of person you believe you are. I'm just bad at discipline. I always mess this up. I never stay consistent. Be careful with those words. The Stoics believe character is built through repeated action. So every time you act with courage, even in a tiny way, you become a courageous person. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you become trustworthy. This means discipline is not something you wait to have. It's something you become through proof. A woman once struggled for years to wake up early. Every night she planned it. Every morning she snoozed the alarm. Eventually, she stopped focusing on waking up at 5 a.m. forever. Instead, she told herself, I'm becoming the kind of person who gets up when she says she will. That identity shift changed everything. It wasn't about the clock anymore. It was about self-respect. That's the real root of discipline, not punishment. Respect. When you keep delaying important things, you quietly teach yourself that your own word means nothing. That hurts deeper than people admit. But every small action repairs it. One task, one promise, one moment of follow-through, and slowly trust returns. Halfway through this journey, there's something important you need to hear. Your procrastination may not be about laziness at all. It may be hidden fear, fear of failing, fear of judgment, fear of discovering your limits, even fear of success, because success changes expectations. Well, this is the midpoint where most people wake up. They realize the task itself isn't what scares them. It's what the task means. A man delayed launching his small online business for almost a year. He kept saying he needed a better logo, a better plan, better timing. But deep down, he was afraid. If he launched and nobody cared, that would hurt. If he launched and it worked, his life would change. Both possibilities scared him, so staying stuck felt safer. This is why the Stoics trained themselves to face uncomfortable truths directly. Ask yourself, what am I really avoiding? Sometimes it's not the work. It's the emotion behind the work. Once you name it, it loses power. And from there, the next Stoic secret becomes powerful. Focus only on what is in your control. You cannot control outcomes. You can't control whether people like your work. You can't control instant results. You can't control how fast progress comes. But you can control whether you sit down and do the work today. This mindset removes pressure. Your only job is the effort, not the future. A student preparing for an exam often procrastinates because they obsess over the result. What if I fail? That question creates paralysis. But if they shift to, my job is to study this next page with full attention, the fear becomes smaller. Control the process. Release the outcome. That's pure Stoic power, and it brings calm. But here's the truth most people don't realize. The longer you procrastinate, the more your mind learns escape as a habit. So the next discipline secret is to make action your default response. Tiny action, immediate action. When something takes less than a few minutes, do it now. When a thought says, I should probably handle this, train yourself to move before the second thought arrives, because the second thought is usually the excuse. This is how momentum is built, not through giant life-changing days, through small, immediate obedience to what matters. A messy room gets cleaned one shirt at a time. A book gets written one paragraph at a time. A broken life gets rebuilt one honest decision at a time. The Stoics' new momentum creates confidence. Confidence does not come first. Action does. And here's a story almost everyone can feel. A young man kept putting off calling his father after an argument. Days turned into weeks. His pride kept telling him, do it later. But deep down, it weighed on him every day. One night, sitting alone, he realized the delay was hurting him more than the call ever could. So he made the call. It lasted 5 minutes. 5 minutes ended months of stress. That's procrastination in real life. Sometimes the thing we avoid the longest is the very thing that frees us. And that leads to the final Stoic secret. Remember that time is not endless. The Stoics reflected often on mortality, not to create fear, but clarity. Your life is being shaped by what you keep postponing. The book you haven't started, the apology you haven't made, the dream you keep delaying, the habits you say you'll fix someday. Someday is dangerous because it feels safe, but it often means never. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself that you could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do, say, and think. That's not dark, it's powerful. Because when you truly remember time is limited, unnecessary delay starts to look expensive. You stop treating days like they are guaranteed. You stop handing your future to comfort. You begin now, this hour, this moment, this decision. That's where your new life begins. Not in motivation videos, not in perfect plans, not in tomorrow morning, here, right after this. So if you've been waiting for a sign, this is it. The stress you feel from procrastination is not a life sentence. It's a signal that your deeper self wants alignment. It wants action. It wants honesty. It wants peace. And peace only comes when your actions match your values. You already know what needs to be done. The call, the work, the step, the start. Don't make it bigger than it is. Just begin. Quietly, calmly, without drama. Like the Stoics. because every time you act despite resistance, you become stronger than the version of you that hesitates. You become calmer, sharper, more in control. And one day, you'll look back at the old cycle of delay and realize something beautiful. It ended the moment you stopped waiting to feel different and chose to act as the person you wanted to become. That person is already inside you, still calm, still strong, still capable. All they need is proof. Give them that proof today. One action, one promise kept, one step forward. If this spoke to where you are in life right now, and it helped you see procrastination in a new way, consider subscribing. And more importantly, before you watch another video, before you scroll, before the old pattern returns, go do the one thing you've been avoiding. That single action might change more than you think.